Yes, it is. Okay.
Right, cool.
Okay. Right. Go ahead, please.
Right, sure. So my name is Rishav. I'm a rising sophomore at Interlake High School in Bellevue, Washington, and this is my project, Pathology AI. It's a research and education prototype designed to help make pathology image review more organized. The main idea is basically to turn a folder of pathology images into a clear and human-led review queue. This system can check like the image quality, suggest which images to look at first, and show visual summaries. But most importantly, it keeps the human in the loop. It always makes sure that everything is reviewed by a human and nothing just goes straight through the AI. So
Cool.
let's take a look at the problem that we were trying to solve with this. So a pathology folder isn't automatically a review queue. Images in the same folder can have different qualities. Some may be too blurry, others too dark, too bright, extremely small, too large, etc. The order of the files also doesn't really tell the reviewer which images need to be inspected first. And finally, important information like reviewer notes, overrides, group IDs, other stuff such as processing details, and more can easily become separated from each image. Pathology AI is designed to help add structure to this process. The goal is not to give a diagnosis, it's to help make the review process more efficient and organized.
Okay.
But the system basically just makes the review priority visible
Rishav, also
and
1 second. Pause 1 second. Look, you're doing very well so far. But remember, like when you're presenting to people, right? Like not everyone will know what a pathology queue is or what you're talking about
uh
exactly, right? So maybe some context might be helpful here. So from my understanding, you're looking at pathology folder. You're looking at like images of like cell cultures and stuff to try to predict
yeah,
like predict what sort of infectious disease is affecting this person, right?
yes.
But like, again, we can continue on for now. But next time we're doing this, keep that in mind, right? Like, not everyone will have the exact idea what you're talking about. Okay,
Okay,
so
yeah,
please
sure. Thank
continue.
you.
Please continue.
Yeah, sure. So the basic loop is just suggest, inspect, and confirm. So now let's take a look at the workflow real quick.
Cool.
So first, there are four main steps basically. The first step is the reviewer uploads the images in formats like PNG, JPEG, TIFF, or ZIP. Then the system applies a quality gate to identify inputs that may be not usable, such as like images that are like super bright, super dark, other stuff that I mentioned earlier. Um, and then then the third step is it suggests a review queue order so that the reviewer knows which images to look at first versus what to look at last. At the end, the reviewer can inspect all the images, save notes, decisions, and more, and export the results as CSVs to share with other people. So taking a closer look at the quality gate, it's designed to catch unusable inputs before they take up the reviewer's time. It checks for specific problems such as blurred images, extremely bad lighting, very small dimensions, or blank images. This is a presentation quality check. And if the image fails this blocking check, it receives the label, needs better image. If once we look at the actual products, we'll see there are different labels that can be added to each image, where needs better image is one of them. Looking at the review priority, there are three different labels. The Q labels are designed to help organize the workflow. Review first basically just means that each image has passed the quality checks and is placed earlier in the review human queue. Needs better image obviously just means that a blocking quality issue was detected. So either the image is really bad or there's something wrong with the image. Then lower priority just means that the image passed the basic checks, but was just placed later in the queue. Obviously, even if it's in review first or low priority, you still need to make sure you have a human reviewer, as we want to make sure the human is always in the loop making the correct decisions. These labels aren't like they're not gonna give you a diagnosis, disease probabilities, or like clinical urgency scores, but the system makes sure that it also keeps source of priority suggestion visible, such as what quality gates they use, the deterministic rule, as well as the experimental model, because there are various models that the user can use through this process. So this is a quick image of the dashboard. When I show you the actual website, you'll be able to see it and interact with it a little bit more. The main product
Okay.
idea is, sorry, what?
Okay. What's the point of this slide then?
Yeah. It's just like basically to show that like the reviewer can see the entire queue as like in one place. So you can see like all the
Okay,
images
okay,
here,
cool.
different like notes and stuff like that.
All right.
I have a demo video here, but I think it's better to just
Yeah, this yeah, it's
pull it
better
up and
I
show
can
you.
show.
Yeah.
Yeah, can you pull it up? I was about to ask you
Yeah,
to do
sure.
it.
All right. Can you see it?
Oh, yes, I can.
All right, cool. So this is the landing page. You could scroll through it. There are different like labels and stuff that you can look at. But the main thing, obviously, is the review workspace. So you click this button over here, and it takes you to this workspace here. So you normally would need to press new batch if you're working with something later. If you're working with something earlier and you want to create like a new section, you would
Mm-hmm.
press new batch. Now for the actual images, let's just choose 4 images here. These are MHIST type cells. So let's just choose these 4. They've been uploaded. So now let's just look at the settings. So for the feature provider, I'm just going to stick with Uni. I just like using the Uni as like a base model. There's also HEBO-B as feature exploration, but it's more experimental.
What's the
Um,
difference between these two?
it's just that Uni is basically like our base model. It's better for like general pathology. And HEBO-B is a little bit more experimental. So it's for specific types.
Well, where do you find these models?
I found them on Hugging Face. I just did
Okay.
some research. Uni, I think I found on Hugging Face, and HEBO-B, I think I found from some competition a few years ago.
All right. What type of models are these?
They're pathology models. So
No, no,
basically, sorry, no,
I get
no,
that.
they're
Like,
like image feature exploration models. So they'll look at the
well,
image and like see like check for quality first, and then see like what like specific things are the most important in the image. Um, when we finish running this, you'll be able to see some heat maps and stuff like that, which are meant to help the pathologist. So moving on, like the batch feature context, because these are MHIST patches, we're just going to select MHIST here, and
cool.
then we're just going to click the use experimental MHIST agreement proxy head. This
What is
basically
that?
just checks.
Yeah.
So it
Sorry,
just
I was
checks
about
the
to ask.
uni's output with the HEOB's output. So it just like runs them in tandem to make sure that the outputs are correct.
Cool.
Then you can
Okay.
always change the screening, like the amount of time that you're expected to spend on each image. So the default is 30. So let's just keep it as 30.
Cool.
Then when you click process files, it basically just sends the images to our backend server, which is running on Modal, which basically stores all the models, calls the models, and then it just runs the images through the models to get the output.
Oh,
After
that's
it
how you
finishes
did it.
running, yeah.
Cool. Okay.
So the front end is built with React and Java, I think, and then the back end is just built with Python as well as Modal APIs, which are calling Hugging Face models. So yeah. So
Cool.
now
So
that
you
the
get something.
images, yeah, so the images are finished reviewing here, and then you can just choose. These are the different um, review queues things. So you have 2 images here that are review first and 2 that are low priority. So you can just change these. So let's just say this one's a good. So we can say this is a lower priority, and you can just add a note saying image quality is good. Then you can save and go to the next reviewed, or you can just click around here. Once you finish reviewing everything, you can just finish all and then just press export to reviewed CSV, which will basically just show all the information from the model, such as parameters, stuff like that, as well as other important information for the pathologist. If the pathologist
Mm.
also likes to, they can click the feature overlay, as well as heat maps to see which sections the model thinks is most important to take a look at. This image isn't very good because it's not really identifying a specific part, but I think this one will probably work better because there are specific sections. Yeah. So the model
Oh,
thinks that there are 3 main
that's really
sections
cool.
here.
All
Yeah.
right. Okay,
Okay.
look, I just have like one. I'm just curious about one part over here. The main model that you're using, that's on Hugging Face, right? Like,
Yeah.
by the way, like when people ask you what type of model is it, it's actually asking for the architecture behind the model, right? It's like saying it's like what type of building this is. This is an apartment. Like what type of building is your house, right? Is it an apartment building? Is it like a bungalow? Like there's different types, right? Similarly, like what
Yeah.
type of model it is means like what is the main architecture behind that model, right? So I'm assuming like Uni is probably some sort of transformer-led architecture, but
Yeah. Most likely.
yeah, but again, this sort of stuff, right? Keep this in mind, right? Like people will ask you this, okay?
Yeah. Sorry.
Uh,
I didn't really, when I was looking for the models, I didn't really pay attention to what the type of model was. I just looked at the like accuracy and stuff like that. Like so,
No, no,
it would
no.
be like
Obviously, the accuracy does matter, but like the best
yeah,
to look into your like whatever you're using, right? Look into it a bit more as well, right? Because
yeah,
that's what's powering your whole app, right? Like,
yeah, for sure, for sure.
sure.
Okay,
Okay. Like, honestly, like I don't like actually have that many criticisms. Whereas basically, it just like look into your model. Everything else you made really well. Like I really
thank you.
like you. I think what I really appreciate about your app, right? You really thought about the flow of using it a bit, right? Does that make sense? Like
Yeah,
it feels natural to use, right? I like that. Okay, I guess one last. This is a bit of a bad question, but like, I'll just like let's just end it with this. You said it exports a CSV, right? So like, what does CSV stand for?
comma separated values.
Good. Yes. Okay. You do know what I'm talking about. Yeah. Again, so it's just like, kind of like an Excel file, right? Just values are
Yeah,
symmetric, separate by
yeah.
commas.
Yeah. It just exports to this Excel file and it shows like all the notes, each image like in this name. So I think I'll just download it and show you real quick because it's not
Mhm.
that.
There you go.
Yeah. So you can see like the image ID is over here. Um, then you can see like the review like ID as well as like what the reviewer said. So if you look at the review priority, I know it's a little crammed here, but
Hmm.
and like you can see like the suggested as well as what the reviewer said. Also says did the reviewer look at it, what the reviewer said about it, as
Very
well as
good.
what model you used and other stuff like that. So it's basically just like an overall summary and like a little more technical detail than the landing than like the actual dashboard.
Perfect. Honestly, like I was gonna ask how you're gonna improve this in the future, but like honestly, you did such a good job. I don't see how you will. But
Yeah,
like
yeah. For future improvements, sometimes like what was happening with the app was on render. 'Cause I had to put it on render, right?
yeah,
Sometimes it was just like not loading, like it was just showing a blank screen and it's just like showing the rotating like loading image.
yeah.
Cause like like so that was an issue sometimes, but I think it was just like I think the render was just calling the wrong
Hmm.
like app.py or something like that. But after restarting it and redeploying, it hasn't really had that same issue since.
Cool.
Um, and for like specific user directions, there are like three main things I want to do. So the first is obviously to like improve the user experience on the back end. So basically, I want to make it a little bit more intuitive for the user to know which model they're supposed to use. Like instead of
Hmm.
just guessing between Uni or HevoB or like some other models, which I want to implement later, they should know like okay for if I want to do like if I want to detect cancer or something like that I should use this specific model, or if I want to detect let's just say something in the colon I look at this one specifically. So it's just making the users like not have to like guess as much or have as much like past experience with this. So
Cool.
those are like the two main things, and then also adding like shared review queues so people can work together in the same workspace and add review notes together.